Hey guys, Jordan with the Young Turks. It is Monday, November 7th, 2016. Calm before the storm, presidential election tomorrow. I am back in New York after a week in North Dakota where I covered the Standing Rock standoff between Native Americans as well as police. A lot of my videos are up on youtube.com/TYT politics. Those videos consist of confrontations with police, illegal behavior on the part of police, assault on water protectors, which is what they call the the people fighting the pipeline in North Dakota, and a lot of other great things. We've had millions of views actually on the videos up on youtube.com/TYT politics, as well as TYT politics' Facebook page. So hope you will go check those out. They're very important. Back in the grind today on WikiLeaks. It is part 33. It feels like WikiLeaks has been releasing these new emails, for 10 years. They started a few weeks ago. I've been keeping up with the emails as best I can. For the people who felt there would be some type of nuclear bomb dropped in these emails, frankly, I think there were a lot of mini bombs dropped. But as WikiLeaks showed, our media is completely corrupt. So our media didn't particularly cover the actual bombs in the email pertaining to the Clinton Foundation or media being in the tank or some of the things I'm going to get into today. There are illegal things. I did a Facebook Live earlier today talking about the fact that there is black and white evidence that Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump's campaign coordinated with super PACs, which is against the law. Evidence of that, but nobody's being held accountable. This is America, so the rich could break the law, the politicians could break the law, the candidates could break the law. Nothing to see here. Whereas if you and I break the law for jaywalking, we're screwed. So, want to read you some of the emails from today. Granted, who knows? Maybe WikiLeaks has something and they're going to release it on election day. Who knows? I think that's a bad plan because a lot of people are just low information voters who are not following WikiLeaks and might not know if WikiLeaks releases something insane while they're headed to the polls. So that would change their mind. So, who knows? But as of now, WikiLeaks has released a lot of, I think, interesting things today. The first thing that I found is Debbie Wasserman Schultz directly in emails working against Bernie Sanders. Now, we've seen plenty of emails showing the DNC, when she was the chairwoman, working against Bernie Sanders. I haven't seen a lot directly showing her pulling the strings. This one is pretty black or white. So, funny enough, her Gmail, maybe it was changed by now, was heartsleeve@gmail.com. So I guess she thinks she's wearing her heart on her sleeve. But it was heartsleeve@gmail.com. And she sent an email in May, so Democratic primary still going on, subject line, MSNBC story, saying, "This is a good story. Did we get them the info near the bottom?" The headline, Bernie Sanders faces a then what problem. This is a good story. Did we get them the info near the bottom? Talking about did we get MSNBC the info near the bottom. The story was, it's safe to say, May hasn't gone quite as well as Bernie Sanders and his supporters had hoped. He needed landslide victories in several primaries, and he came up short. After steadily gaining on Hillary Clinton in national Democratic polls for months, the senator has seen his support slip in recent weeks. In Nevada, Sanders supporters caused a near riot at the state Democratic convention based on allegations of party wrongdoing that have struggled to withstand scrutiny. So, W. Wasserman Schultz says, this is a good story. Did we get them the info near the bottom? Let's go to the bottom of the story. So let's see what she's talking about. There are rumors about Sanders supporters preparing for civil disobedience and organized disruptions at the Democratic convention itself. Okay, but then what? History has shown that convention protests, even intra-party protests, can lead to meaningful change, but even if progressive activists literally started fires on the convention floor in his display of violent catharsis, how does that bring Sanders and his allies any closer to their goals? Yeah. So W. Wasserman Schultz is essentially, pitching negative stories about Bernie Sanders to MSNBC as the neutral Democratic National Committee chairwoman. So, yeah, nothing to see here. You got one corrupt DNC chair, rigged the primary schedule to put favorable states up front for Hillary Clinton, rigged the debates so that you would have the debates at times where nobody was watching, and orchestrated her subordinates to pitch negative stories, to plant negative stories about Bernie Sanders, and her herself was sending to her subordinates, hey, did we get this to MSNBC, this bad stories about Bernie Sanders? So whatever you think right now about Bernie Sanders, I know a lot of you think he's a sellout and all these things. Over at CYT Politics, I've told you why I think that's a relatively black and white way of looking at things. I do not think Bernie Sanders is a sellout. Is everything he has done something that I agree with? No. But I think there's still a lot of admiration and respect we need to have for Bernie Sanders. But I don't know how he's staying silent when all these things come out, showing that it wasn't a fair fight from the beginning. I'm not saying he should have pulled his endorsement, but by God, I mean, every single day there's more that shows that Bernie Sanders was literally being attacked, not just by the Clinton campaign, not just by the Clinton super PACs, but by the DNC and all the supposedly neutral bodies. So Bernie has more strength than me because I would have been through the roof by now. So that's one email showing Debbie Wasserman Schultz directly trying to plant stories to hurt Bernie Sanders. And this is why it's kind of a joke in the first place that Debbie Wasserman Schultz was made to be the DNC chair, because Debbie Wasserman Schultz was the co-chair of Hillary Clinton's campaign in 2008. And most people with brains thought Hillary Clinton was going to be running for president. So why you would allow Debbie Wasserman Schultz to be in a position where she could put not only her thumb on the scale, but stomp her foot on the scale, beyond me. Totally beyond me. So another exchange with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the subject line, interview request, Face the Nation. So CBS's Face the Nation, pretty well-known Sunday show, wanted Debbie Wasserman Schultz to come on to discuss the Nevada convention. So Debbie Wasserman Schultz says, it's been about 2 years since I've been asked to be on Face the Nation. What are the topics? Is the primary purpose to have me on to continue the back and forth over the Nevada convention, which we all know chairs were thrown and riots were developed by the Bernie campaign, which obviously is a joke. It didn't happen, but Debbie Wasserman Schultz went on TV saying it did. Or is it to get me to respond to Weaver's allegations? I'm happy to go on, but only if it is a general discussion on the election, not primarily the controversy. Please let me know. So one of her stooges at the DNC says, my inclination is that the issue will be discussed with or without us. Having Weaver without our side on is far from advantageous. Let our team discuss and get back to you in a timely manner. So Debbie Wasserman Schultz responds, this is my instinct as well. They will be out there, meaning Bernie Sanders' campaign will be on the program. If I hide, their narrative will go unchallenged. I will pivot quickly, but we have to be there. So Louis Miranda, who was the DNC communications director, he got fired after Debbie Wasserman Schultz resigned because he was shown to be corrupt and working against Bernie Sanders. He writes, points to consider. Reince did a full Ginsburg at his lowest point. That's what draws attention. Full Ginsburg means went on all the Sunday shows. If we cancel on them now and things get all nice, they may not want us back till convention, if at all. We can't be offended about any topic or question. It's our job to be accountable, and it looks better if we answer and pivot than just not show up at all. The coverage has shifted significantly. It's much better today. See New York Times story and Washington Post editorial. It's clear that Bernie messed up, and we were on the right side of history. We're going to take hits, but Bernie defending the actions the way he's done, I think, makes him look more bad than us. This guy also said, Clinton's campaign is a mess. They're afraid of their own shadow and didn't like that we engaged. I happen to think we're wrong. I happen to think they're wrong, and it explains why they're hobbling along, unable to close it out. But they'll be unhappy regardless, so better to get out there and do some strong pivots and land good punches on Trump. They can't tell us not to do TV right now. We shouldn't pull ourselves out until they actually do. Are you listening to this? They'll be unhappy regardless, so better to get out there and do some strong pivots and land good punches on Trump. They, meaning the Clinton campaign, can't tell us not to do the TV right now. We shouldn't pull ourselves out until they actually do. This is the Democratic National Committee, the supposedly neutral body, who is acknowledging that they're working with Hillary Clinton's campaign, is acknowledging that their strategy, whether to go on a Sunday morning program or not, is how they could most negatively hurt Bernie Sanders. Again, it's at this point it's just beyond corrupt. It's just there's been no accountability. I don't care that Debbie Wasserman Schultz resigned. I don't care that people got fired at the DNC. Hillary Clinton's campaign wasn't called to the carpet for being on the receiving end of this beneficial treatment by the DNC. I mean, what really was the accountability that the most successful progressive insurgent in American history, Bernie Sanders, was not in a fair fight the whole time? Would he have won if all this stuff didn't happen? Who knows? I'm not going to tell you he would have won. I don't know. I think it would have been a lot closer. But it's not about win or lose. It's about what is right, what is wrong. You should not have the DNC putting their whole foot on the scale. Should not have Barack Obama's administration coordinating with Hillary Clinton's campaign, which I've reported and has been shown in WikiLeaks. I mean, every single local, state, and national politician endorsed Hillary Clinton, was actively working for Hillary Clinton. There were very few that endorsed Bernie Sanders, and you had the DNC working against them. This is what we mean by the rigged system. It's not only about machines being rigged, on election day, or people being purged. It's about the playing field is stacked for the people that are powerful, that the people that the banks like, the people the lobbyists like. And Debbie Wasserman, and this is Debbie Wasserman Schultz. We're not even getting into Donna Brazile, who came out today basically doubling down that she didn't do anything wrong when it came to CNN. So, I mean, corruption has no bounds in the DNC. And, let's be fair. It's not like Reince Priebus over at the RNC is Mother Teresa and a moral, upright citizen. But I don't have the emails for the RNC at the moment to compare and contrast. So I have to focus with what I have. And this is corruption, plain and simple. They went on TV claiming that Bernie Sanders, messed up and his supporters were violent at the Nevada convention, and the CNN and all these people ran with it. There was no evidence, never any evidence that chairs were thrown, never any evidence that there was anything past Bernie Sanders supporters screaming at the Nevada convention heads, Nevada state convention heads, because they were stacking the deck for Clinton too. It was corruption and conning right in front of you, spun into Bernie Sanders people are violent. And as you can see, Debbie Wasserman Schultz was leading the charge behind closed doors. It's a joke. Whole thing's a joke. Oh, Lord. Moving on. You have so Vox.com, which is as pro-Hillary Clinton and establishment as you can get. One of their writers tweeted out today, "I have written there's zero evidence the Clinton Foundation was used for personal family enrichment. Looks like I was wrong." So, hey, I like to criticize the media. Credit where credit is due. Even though they're a bunch of Hillary Clinton shills, Vox.com has acknowledged they were wrong. So this guy, Jeff Stein, who's a writer for them, said, "I was wrong about the Clinton Foundation not enriching themselves while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State." And he links to an email. So this email is from Doug Band. He's been mentioned in these WikiLeaks throughout for weeks. He was a big guy at the Clinton Foundation. It was in the Clinton's orbit for many, many years. So he writes, "I learned from the best. The investigation into her getting paid for campaigning, using foundation resources for her wedding and life for a decade, taxes on money from her parents. I hope that you will speak to her and end this. Once we go down this road, ... So he's responding. Doug Band wrote this about Chelsea Clinton, and he wrote this in response to John Podesta. This was January 2012. So Hillary Clinton's still Secretary of State. John Podesta writes, you are perfecting your skills for the understatement. John Podesta wrote that in response to Doug Band writing, "I just received a call from a close friend on WJC's, William Jefferson Clinton, who said that CVC told Chelsea Clinton told one of the Bush 43 kids that she is conducting an internal investigation of money within the foundation, from CGI to the foundation. The Bush kid then told someone else, who then told an operative within the Republican Party. I have heard more and more chatter of Chelsea and Barry talking about lots of what is going on internally to people. Not smart. I have heard more and more chatter on Chelsea and Barry. Barry, I don't know if they were married at that time, but is her husband. Talking about lots of what is going on internally to people. Not smart. Well, Doug, what's going on internally that's not smart to share with the Bushies? I'd like to know. What's going on internally? So he wrote that. John Podesta, you're perfecting your skills for the understatement. Then he says, Doug Ban, I learned from the best. The investigation into her getting paid for campaigning, using foundation resources for her wedding, and life for a decade, taxes on money from her parents. I hope that you will speak to her and end this. Once we go down this road, ... So I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but this is kind of talking about, well, we don't want the body, we know where the bodies are buried, and we don't want that information out there. So what is the information that we don't want to go down this road, ... What is the information? I have heard more and more chatter of CVC and Barry talking about lots of what is going on internally to people. Not smart. What's going on internally that we don't want out? Is there illegal behavior? Is there pay for play? What he's writing is not smart. So, but that just shows you more of the corruption that CNN, the media, completely numb to. They don't care. So, moving on. But props to Vox for writing. I have written there's zero evidence that Clinton Foundation was used for personal family enrichments. Looks like I was wrong. You were wrong, Vox. This one's good. It's not recent, but it's from the 2008 campaign. Arianna Huffington, the founder of the Huffington Post, which has become a 24/7 megaphone, foaming at the mouth about the dangers of Donald Trump. In 2008, an email headline subject, Arianna/board. Now, Susan at messageinc.com writes to a bunch of Hillary Clinton allies, including David Brock, who is her hatchet man. I spoke with Arianna about PMUSA board and will send her more info. She is enthusiastic about the project, but asks if she's more useful to us not being on the board and instead using HuffPo to echo our message without any perceived conflicts. She has a point. We'll keep talking. She liked the Geffen idea. He's on his boat and returns May 9th. She'll make the ask. Steve, I had a good talk with Jeff about logo. So I spoke with Arianna, and, she's interested in getting on this board, but she's also wondering if she'd be more useful to us not being on the board and instead using HuffPo to, quote, echo our message without any perceived conflicts. Anybody? The Huffington Post echoing Hillary Clinton's message? I don't know if Arianna Huffington, I don't know if I want to be on a board because I want to help you guys. That's what our role is here at the Huffington Post. And this was April 2008, so still during the Democratic primary between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama at that point. And disclosure, I used to love the Huffington Post when I knew nothing about anything. But they've really fallen from grace with this fear-mongering about Donald Trump, who you know how I feel about Donald Trump. This isn't a defense of Donald Trump. But it just shows you there is no revolving door. I keep talking about the revolving door. There is no revolving door anymore. The door's swung open. The media works with the politicians. They all have cocktails together in New York City and D.C. and Los Angeles and all the elite limousine liberal towns in America, cities in America. How can I help you? By the way, this isn't even to mention there was an article this year that came out about Arianna Huffington, how she routinely tried to help her friends in politics and the media. So, Arianna Huffington, there you have it, in writing. How can I echo your message? You're not going to see this on the media, though. Can't cover it. Moving on. Hillary Clinton's campaign freaked out over a report that Hillary herself met with Super PAC Priorities USA during the primary, which, by the way, is against the law. I did a Facebook Live on TYT Politics earlier, ranting about the fact that nobody seems to care that Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, by the way, his campaign broke the law, according to Citizens United. Well, The powerful can break the law because those laws don't those laws are for everybody else but Hillary Clinton, but Donald Trump, but Barack Obama. Nothing to see here. So let me read you this email, which it's tough to even read these because it's like there's no accountability. That's the problem. There's no accountability. So Jennifer Palmieri, who is Hillary Clinton's communications director, it's May of 2015. She writes, "So afraid that the New York Times is going with this story on priorities, whether we like it or not. They have sources about the meetings. Honestly, it sounds like priority staff was yapping. We are not confirming meetings on this trip, but commenting on why we are not confirming meetings on this trip, but commenting on why we are participating with priorities." This was in response to another Hillary Clinton aide who said, "FYI, the New York Times will soon report that HRC is doing meetings for Priorities USA. We have not confirmed the meeting and will not be confirming these types of meetings. We are, however, reflecting how we'll support Priorities USA work where needed and frame this up. If you get press questions as follow-ups on this, please send them to me." So this is just written as it's normal that Hillary Clinton is having meetings, essentially, in supporting Priorities USA. Supporting means fundraising for Priorities USA. So Citizens United, which we all know is a monstrosity, but the one thing defenders of Citizens United said, well, it'll be illegal for candidates to coordinate with their super PACs, so we're okay. Everybody knew that was nonsense. They were coordinating with their super PACs, but, it's illegal, so they won't do it. As Hillary Clinton says, cut it out. Well, apparently Hillary Clinton was having meetings in support of Priorities USA. Nothing to see here. It's out there. Just like there's been email after email after email after email showing the Hillary Clinton campaign had meetings with Correct the Record USA, with Priorities USA, their super PACs, which is illegal, but there's no accountability. So here you have it. Hillary Clinton was basically fundraising for Priorities USA. I'm not even surprised at any of these anymore because they just, every day they come out more and more and there's no accountability. If this was, imagine if these emails came out about Donald Trump. The Hillary Clinton's campaign, the media would be calling, he's got to be in jail. He broke the law. And again, this isn't like a defense of Donald Trump. I don't want Donald Trump to win. But there is a double standard because the media wants Hillary Clinton to win. So they're ignoring that she broke the law, that her campaign broke the law. And the reason the campaign did this so overtly without hiding it is because they knew nobody would come after them because they know how the system works. They know the media won't come after them. They know they won't be held accountable legally. So they just did whatever they wanted. Moving on. So in another email, John Harwood, who is a CNBC anchor, reporter, whatever, he's been shown time and time again in these emails to be asking Hillary Clinton's campaign for a beer, saying, giving them advice, writing emails to John Podesta. Oh, Hillary, she gave a great interview. Almost like auditioning for a role in the administration. Well, he wrote another email. What should I ask Jeb was the subject line. Jeb Bush. To John Podesta. What should I ask Jeb in speakeasy interview tomorrow? Because John Harwood was interviewing Jeb Bush. So instead of asking his producers for some help with framing some questions, instead of, God forbid, doing some research himself to frame some questions, he just reached out to Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman. Hey, give me some opposition research so I could ask Jeb Bush a tough question and essentially do your bidding. This is John Harwood of CNBC, who, by the way, moderated a debate this year. And when it had a clip go viral because he went very tough on Donald Trump. Well, meanwhile, he was asking Hillary Clinton's campaign for help in interviewing Jeb Bush. So nothing to see here. Just journalism in 2016. Beautiful thing. Moving on. This is, I think, the biggest thing that was shown in these emails. So in 2014, Hillary Clinton was not Secretary of State. She was a private citizen, giving speeches to banks and making a lot of money. At that time had high favorable ratings because she was not back in the political arena. But she was also actively talking to John Podesta. At the time, John Podesta was an advisor to President Obama. Hillary Clinton, private citizen, not the Secretary of State. John Podesta, government employee working for President Obama. Well, what were they talking about in this email exchange? Intelligence information pertaining to Libya. Hillary Clinton was on her private server and private email, and she was emailing with John Podesta. John Podesta emailing on his Gmail account. So two unsecured emails, two unsecured servers, shooting back and forth on Libya. And at the bottom of the emails, Hillary writes, she writes a whole list of points, and it says, note, sources include Western intelligence, U.S. intelligence, and sources in the region. So, frankly, I believe as former Secretary of State, she still got intelligence information. So I don't think that's the scandal, that she was getting intelligence information. But you're sending intelligence information on your private server that's not secured to John Podesta's Gmail, which obviously is not secured because that's how we have all these WikiLeaks. John Podesta's Gmail account was hacked, according to them, by the Russians. Still no proof on that, but whatever. So they were just flippantly going back and forth, exchanging United States intelligence information without any regard to maybe someone's going to be able to hack this. And by the way, this was before John Podesta. Never mind on that. So it just shows you Hillary Clinton acted with total impunity, and there's no consequences. And John Podesta, by the way, is emailing on his private server, private email. And at the top, by the way, John Podesta says, they're talking about intelligence information pertaining to Libya. Podesta says, yes, and interesting, but not for this channel. Hillary Clinton, got it. So what does that mean? They're saying, all right, let's talk about. Basically, John Podesta is saying, let's take it off this channel. Let's stop talking about this here. And Hillary Clinton says, got it. So they know they're not supposed to be talking about this through email with their private accounts, but they're doing it anyway. Almost done here, folks. Give me one or two more. So, our friends at CNN, some more corruption with CNN. So CNN literally outsourced questions to the Democratic National Committee for an interview they were set to do with Ted Cruz. So, subject line, Cruz on CNN. Somebody, Dylan at DNC, wrote, Cruz on CNN. CNN is looking for questions. Please send some topical/interesting ones. Maybe a couple on Fiorina, meaning Carly Fiorina. This was from April of this year. So Eric Wemple from the Washington Post, he's like a media critic, wrote, plenty to criticize CNN on with Donna Brazile and other things, but this is normal. No, I worked in cable news. This is not normal. This is not normal for a cable news network or any journalistic network to be reaching out to the DNC, the RNC, or any political body to help shape questions for you. You're supposed to be the ones holding the DNC, the RNC, and these people accountable, not asking them for help in doing your job. And what kind of questions do you think you're going to get from the DNC? Do you think they're going to be of the highest journalistic virtues? These are all PR people. These are all political operatives at the DNC. They're going to give you questions that are either out of context, play fast and loose with the facts. I mean, it's unbelievable at this point. The amount of corruption's not the word. The amount of sheer arrogance and total dereliction of journalistic duty that CNN and other journalists are shown to have in these WikiLeaks. And then when you call them on it, this is just how things are done in journalism. Nothing to see here. Just like Hillary Clinton's Democratic operatives say, nothing to see here. This is politics. You're making a big deal out of nothing. No. It's not normal for the DNC to say, CNN is looking for questions. Please send topical, interesting ones. Maybe a couple on Fiorina. Here's another one with CNN outsourcing questions. The same person says, reminder, Kelly, please take lead. Folks, and your questions and any necessary backup to Kelly. Wolf Blitzer is interviewing Trump on Tuesday ahead of his foreign policy address on Wednesday. Please send me thoughts by 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. So they're basically pooling questions to send to CNN ahead of Wolf Blitzer's interview. Wolf Blitzer, very nice guy. I met him, but he is a hack of a journalist. He's a talking point machine. He's never challenged anybody in his life. That's why he's beloved, because he's there to be your friend. But CNN is literally outsourcing questions to the DNC to interview Republican candidates. This is scandalous, and you're not seeing a word about it on CNN or anywhere else. Maybe Fox News, probably. I mean, you can't really make it up. You just can't. It's corruption that has no bounds. But, hey, this is the world we live in, apparently, where CNN could be corrupt, no accountability. The president of CNN, no accountability. The anchors involved, no accountability. We could live in a world where Hillary Clinton's campaign, Donald Trump's campaign break super PAC laws, no accountability. Meanwhile, water protectors who are fighting for their water are falsely arrested in North Dakota. They are maced in the face. They are shot by point-blank range with rubber bullets, which can kill you, for trying to pray. This happened several days ago that I covered on youtube.com/TYTpolitics. Thank God Jill Stein has filed a suit with the Federal Election Commission on Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump's illegal behavior. Because obviously the media is not going to do anything on it. I mean, it's at this point, this is bigger than, I think, what WikiLeaks has accomplished. A lot of people were hoping WikiLeaks would accomplish something that kept Hillary Clinton out of office. At this point, I don't know if that's going to happen. But I think what WikiLeaks has accomplished is shining a light. When we talk about the rigged system, when we talk about the revolving door, we have it in writing, folks. And we'll have it in writing forever. CNN, the mainstream media, is in bed with the politicians. The politicians are in bed with the Supreme Court. The politicians are in bed with the banks. The politicians are in bed with the lobbyists. And it is one giant circle jerk. Sorry for my crude language. And I'm going to keep fighting against it. And I'm pretty sure the Young Turks is. I know some of you haven't been in love with some of their coverage, but we're not going away. We're going to fight. Most of the things I tell you are scandalous, are corruption, but because there's so few people who actually can identify what corruption is anymore, can identify what a scandal is anymore, it's not looked at as a scandal. Because the people with the biggest microphone at this point, well, nothing to see here. Business as usual. That's going to end real soon, if I have anything to do with it. Thanks for watching, guys. The Young Turks is on in 5 minutes. More videos are going up on youtube.com/2YTpolitics. Great videos from Standing Rock. Great videos I did today and Emma did today on the election tomorrow, on WikiLeaks. I went on a little bit of a rant about the fact that there's no law, no accountability for campaigns with super PACs. I'll probably go on an epic rant tomorrow on election day. I'm in a ranty mood. And I'll be on CNBC.com in the morning tomorrow. I will be on Now This News in the afternoon. And then I will be manning the fort at coverage tomorrow when we basically, I don't really know what it is. Cenk said we're having a protest outside Hillary Clinton's event. I guess I'll figure it out as I go along. But I'll be reporting tomorrow night outside of Hillary Clinton's election night event from New York City. And apparently we're having a little protest. So should be fun. Thanks, guys. Remember, subscribe to youtube.com/TYTpolitics. Take care.